Hello and thank you for joining the first edition of Journalist Hangout. This week, I'm Ayodele Ozubakun. Today on the Hangout, President Buhari extends vacation indefinitely. James Onanefe Ibori gets warm welcome back to Nigeria. Boko Haram terrorists attack Sasawa town in Yobe State. I'll be joined by Babajide Kolade Otitoju, Tunde Abaton and Mojib Jamil. So if you're ready, let the Hangout start now. Mr. President wrote to the Senate asking for an indefinite extension of his leave. His letter revealed that he has been undergoing medical examination in London and would not return soon. In fact, an online newspaper says he might not return until 4 months. 4 months. But this has been countered by the presidency. It says President Buhari is not in the hospital and is not as ill as many thought. Where is the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria? Mojid, let me start from you. Have you seen Mr. President? Were you in London?
That's a $1 million question. The presidency told us our president is in London, so that's as far as we can say. But I think the whole issue is not being well managed. Fine, we have an elderly person as our president.
Which is not unusual.
It's not
for checkup or.
It's not unusual. My dad will be 78 this year, and I know the kind of state he is. Fine, some of them could be lucky, like Wale Soyinka, who is 84, like Afe Babalawo is 85, like even Obasanjo or even Robert Mugabe, who is, I think, about 92. So, but, you see, the age is not an issue here. Look at Trump and Obama, for example. Obama is exiting, he left at the age of 55. While Americans even had, an option of between electing a 69-year-old or a 70-year-old, and Trump became president at the age of 70. So we won't say it's an aberration that Nigerians voted Buhari at the age of 72. It's not an aberration. But then, Nigerians need to know the truth. In a situation where we'll be told that the president cannot talk to us, we need to know his state of health. Now, key investment decisions will be put on hold until those investors are sure that we have a sort of stability in the economy.
Okay.
As we have now, we can't really say we have. We have the acting vice president, but there are some decisions.
Let me get Tunde's intervention now. Tunde, he has not done anything wrong. Particularly, he did it better than the late Umar Yar'Adua. He wrote to the National Assembly, and we have an acting president right now. So why this concern about the whereabouts of Mr. President?
Nigerians have every right to be concerned about the whereabouts of any leader at any particular level. But there's something that we have to do in this country to remove the culture of suspicion and fear. And that is that the moment anybody becomes the property of the state, right from when you are the chairman of the local government, property of the state, either chairman of a local government,
your life is
speaker
not,
or governor, your life should not be kept in such secrecy.
Yeah.
American President Reagan and many others have gone through surgery while in office. There's no big deal about it. But the moment you are keeping, it's like when you want to take something from a child and you are hiding it. The thing is black and you are hiding it from him. It's going to be more curious to know that why are you hiding something that is black? If it is red, it is normal because they are attracted to bright color. But when you are hiding something honestly from the public. And secondly, I think there's something that, because I've had an opportunity of being in office before, there's something we have to know in this country. The moment you become a public official, very little about you is something that should be kept to yourself, because you are being sustained at the expense of the public. So, number one, with the experience we have with Yar'Adua and with the experience we are having now, I think it is not too much to ask any leader that is aspiring to know the mental and physical and health state of
Mr. President.
And when such a leader needs to go on medical research, we have to know the ailment is being treated for. There was a time Reagan was treated for something in the tumor, asthma, and they told the whole of America. In fact, while the operation was being performed, they were showing it live on So what is the big deal? The more you hide from Nigerians, it means there's something Nigerians are not supposed to know. And there's nothing Nigerians are not supposed to know about their
Julie, some people will put this at the doorstep of his handlers. The likes of Mr. Femi Adesina, the likes of Garuba Shehu, those people that are in charge of the image of Mr. President and his media men. Particularly, you just wake up one morning, you will see a picture with Governor Amosu taking lunch. The next morning, you will see one big picture with Mrs. Buhari making headline, all is well. So we're expecting him on Saturday. You know, that painted a picture of somebody eating with a governor. That means he's not even in a hospital. One of his handlers even said at the point in time that he's not even close to any hospital in London, that he's at home, he's resting.
Honestly, I don't know what the aides have done wrong. Honestly, I don't know what they've done wrong. They told us he was ill. When he was traveling, they told us he was going to meet with his doctors. And when Nigerians began to speculate in an irresponsible manner that the president was dead, they showed us pictures, you know, to combust that speculation. But even if Femi Adesina makes a habit of addressing Nigerians for 30 minutes every day on the state of the president, and he puts the president beside him, those who will still come up with funny stories. Because today I saw a picture on social media, a picture that was taken when Yaradua died, draped in national colors. And they now put, already these people have cloned websites. They cloned the CNN, they cloned the Vanguard websites to announce that the president was dead.
Even
I was sleeping 5:30 a.m. a few days back. One of my younger sisters called me to say, they said the president was dead. And I said, if the president dies today, it is me who will tell you, not you telling me. I said, if you get to know that the president is dead before me, then I failed as a journalist. I said, it's no, you woke me up. I told one of my parents had died. When you woke me up, I was really terrified. Not knowing that it was this rumor that you wanted. I said, why now? Then I went to her page on Facebook and I saw it is well with Nigeria. Meaning that she believed that story immediately. She just wanted to bounce it against me after believing it and posting a comment on Facebook. So the thing is, they tried their best. See, beyond giving information that will further raise the apprehension of Nigerians, I don't think that Garuba Shehu and Femi Adesina have done anything wrong. They've tried to tell us that this man is old. Forget the president. I think his last birthday was how old?
73.
73. Is it 74?
Yeah, it'll be 74 this year.
The president is older than that. The president is older than that.
We know
age.
the Obasanjo story.
It's like saying Obasanjo is going to be 80. That is a lie from the pit of hell. Because his mates are in the region of 85, 86. Let me tell you, the president's friends, the ones who went to school with him in Katsina, they are in the region of 79, 80 years. I will mention just two of them. Former president of the Court of Appeal, Umar Farouk Abdullahi. The former Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Kumasi, they were his classmates. They are in the region of 79, 80. And a man of that age, if he's not very lucky, there are some ailments that come with old age, rheumatic pains and the rest of them.
Yeah.
You know, so we must live with, we have elected an old leader. We must live with the fact that he will occasionally fall sick and he will need the best care that he can get. That is the situation. The best we can do is to continue to pray for him and pray for the people who are publishing all sorts of lies that he's dead and all that, that God will change them. Honest, for me, I think this is the best that we can do for this man.
MJ, what do you think is fueling this agitation?
Yeah, you know, there are some naysayers, some pastors, some soothsayers that have predicted, and even some governors that have predicted that, even with paid adverts, that the president would, God forbid, die in office. So they want their prediction to come to pass. And some of them are fueling all of these things. And it is very unfortunate that rather than look for ways of improving our economy. Look at the way, even at 72, the way Trump is rocking the whole of America. I mean, sorry, at 70. So I want to believe that. Then there are some whalers that won't just live with.
Who are the whalers?
There are some whalers that won't just live with the fact that Buhari is president. How do you expect?
Whalers.
Yes, you see, there are some of them, especially with the anti-corruption battle the man is fighting. They won't want him back to come and continue that fight. So, but God forbid.
All right.
With the way things are going, I think
they can't stab him to death.
They can't stab him to death.
All right. Let me quickly take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. It's still Journalist Hangout live from Television Continental here in Lagos, Nigeria. Welcome back. We're still looking at the health of Mr. President, and he has deferred his return back to the seat of power indefinitely. And Tunde Abaton, I think this is the bone of contention here now. If a time lag was given, 2 months, 3 months, we'll know we'll live with that. But indefinitely is quite, scary.
Well, I think the presidency and those who are managing the information, they are trying to, so far there was a report that it needs to go through some tests, and you cannot be specific as to when. If
you go through some tests, Max, you say, okay, in the next 2 months, in the next 3 months, indefinitely leaves.
Yes, I know. I think
mindset
they are trying
that
to run
you think
from
something is
a
terribly wrong.
time. I think they are trying to manage that situation from giving a definite time. So when they give a definite time and the time is not ripe again, then they will come out and say, Nigerians. I think they are trying to manage. We have to understand. There's something I want us to know there's something I want us to know. There are three categories of people that are fueling this thing. There are some people who have not accept the fact that somebody lost the election in 2015. We have to know whether we like it or not. Number two, there are some people who are so negative about their leaders that the only thing they want to hear about their leaders is that their leader is not well. Number three are members of the media. We post all sorts of things because people are looking for gain in all manner.
No, you don't say the conventional media.
Social media. Because people want to
corporate.
People want to just get attention by all means, and I think it is not responsible of people deliberately going out to say that their president is dead, or they are not wishing their president well. I think it is bad enough, and I just believe that if people have the fear of God, then you will know that it is crime against God to wish the next person to you dead. The best thing they can do for Nigeria is that, yes, even if you get rid of the president tomorrow, doesn't mean that your economic problem is going to be over tomorrow. The answer is no. So we should pray for our leaders, no matter who that leader is. The moment he emerges as the president of Nigeria, no matter what, anybody can fall sick. A 40-year-old president of a country can fall sick.
Yes. Julie, let me play the devil's advocate here. Some people, they're comparing the state of the economy and the biting poverty in the land. And because of that, they're transferring the aggression to Mr. President. And that's the psyche out there. Man, we're just tired. If this will happen, let it happen. I've had several people saying that.
So if an Access Bank teller pays somebody like $1 million in error, how about Wigwe, the MD, gets blamed? No, I'm just asking. Does he get blamed for the mistake of a teller in one of his numerous banking halls? Because the president has ministers. If the economy is not doing well, he brought in these people to help him to solve problems. If we don't get light, we are supposed to hold Babatunde Fashola responsible. If your roads are bad, federal roads, you are supposed to hold the same man responsible.
3-1.
Yes. If the housing policy is neither here nor there, you're supposed to hold the same man responsible. If the economy is rudderless, the woman who speaks like a British citizen is the one that we should hold responsible. That's Adeosun. We can't keep holding the president responsible for everything.
But the boss stops on the table.
No, but it doesn't work like that. You can advise him that, look, you can even advise him that you've not got the right people. why don't you change this or change that?
And
Why don't you
Nigerians
look
are
in the
saying that.
direction?
Not 3 months now, did he?
See, and the president has said that he's going
No.
to reshuffle his cabinet. He has already passed that message across to the National Assembly. What I'm saying is, you can't blame him for everything. It makes no sense. You leave your ministers, some of who are just there in name, and then it's the president that you want to blame for everything. I mean, it makes no sense. Let every minister who has been given a portfolio
Perform
and the
optimally.
position that he has been given. Let him earn that position. If he cannot earn the position, then he should be shown the door. Nigerians want results. It makes no sense to say, okay, the president, you have to blame the president all the time. We are journalists.
No, but Jide, I disagree with you. We can blame the president.
All the time?
If some of these ministers are not performing, we blame the president for
He
not
has
moving
already
them.
said that he's going to...
But it's taking time.
No, but he has already said he's going to...
I was about to say
Yes.
that.
Has he not sent the message? No, if you are saying that...
Well, they are sending
If
the
you are
message.
saying that, look, let's get it right. If you are saying that the president takes time to act, on the day you want to talk about his own weaknesses, I will be available to talk about it. If you are saying that it takes time to take decision, yes. But on critical issues like the running of the economy, like the roads not being good, like you don't have lights, and you leave the ministers and go and blame the man, you are wasting your time, because even that won't solve the problem. So he has served notice that he wants to change some of those ministers. Let us assist him as media men to identify the ministers that ought to be changed. So that's the best that we can do for him. It's foolhardy to expect that all the problems of Nigeria can be solved by one man. No. So when your local government council chairman are stealing and you can't find an answer to it, it's the president's the president that you blame? No, it's not right.
Well, I think from all of us here is a consensus that we wish President Buhari well. Yes. And we wish he's back. Quick recovery. Quick recovery.
Or as one musician said some time ago.
So it's a consensus that we feel for Mr. President, and we're praying for him. We're behind him. Moving on now. Delta State is in a celebratory mood. The state is happy that its former governor, James Ibori, who was convicted for looting the state blind, returned home after serving 13 years in the UK prisons. The same people he stole from celebrated him as though he's a pope. Does this mean that corruption has different meaning in Delta States? On Saturday night, I was in the newsroom and we're following the story, and we gave the full report. Carl Ofoye actually was in Ogara and he captured the moment. I think, let me just play this for you and you'll have a feel of what we're about to discuss.
Former Delta State strongman James Ibori there waving to the crowd of supporters that thronged his country home in Ogara to welcome him. It was a triumphant entry for the Robo-born politician who established himself as a kingmaker and cheerful giver in Delta State before he went on exile and ended up imprisoned in the United Kingdom. The supporters that came out to welcome the former governor cut across ethnic divides in the state, and their presence could be felt everywhere in his compound and in the entire community. Some of them that spoke with us described his freedom as a special gift for the people of Ogara community in particular and Delta State as a whole because of how he is perceived.
The God that gave Jesus also gave James Ibori. And over the period, God decided to send him to his school. He's been in the college, God's college. And his freedom, he has freed. He has graduated. So he's here. So I'm overwhelmed.
A good product sells itself. Look at the overwhelming crowd. Look at the overwhelming crowd. Chief James Odadefe Ibori is a wonderful man, a great man that has touched so many lives. This is practically, to me, what matters.
Today I'm so happy because our governor is back and we love him so much. We love him so much. We are so happy that he's back home.
Many of them said they will throw big parties in celebration of his return. But it is not clear yet whether the former governor will join the joyous supporters to celebrate his triumphant return to the state he once ruled and reigned like a colossus. This is because he is not prepared yet from the way he conducted himself so far to draw too much attention to himself. Carl Ofonye, TVC News, Ogara, Delta State.
People call him Ogidigbo. Well, he's back after his travel in the United Kingdom. Jide, according to my script here, corruption has a different meaning. To the people in Ogara, in Delta State particularly,
Yes.
their hero is back, their mentor is back, their father of development. I was listening to Edu Anakwe this morning on one other platform, the chief press secretary to the governor of Delta States is saying that what Ibori means to them in Delta State is quite different from what we are calling him.
Yes. He is their hero, but he's not my hero. the one man's hero is another's villain. So the people, even in Delta State, it's not everyone who sees him as a hero. You can't go to E.K. Clark, for example, and say that Ibori is a hero. You can't go to Elder Orubebe.
Great Ogboru.
You can't go to Elder Orubebe, for example, and say Ibori is a hero. Because you know the conflict between him and Jonathan actually stemmed from Elder Orubebe's nomination as a minister. Because the only nominee into the Yaradua cabinet made by Jonathan was Elder Gosde Orubebe. And Jonathan was told by Yaradua to go first convince Ibori, that's the vice president, having to go and beg Ibori before his nominee, his only nominee into that cabinet could get into the cabinet. Yeah. So by the time he left, by the time he became president after the death of Yaradua, because of the shabby treatment that Ibori and his people had given former President Jonathan, it was easy for E.K. Clark and others to say, see, this is your time to move against this fellow. The harassment and the fear of being persecuted was what pushed Ibori to slip into exile. And then he got to Dubai, not knowing that
they had a treaty with
an extradition treaty with the United Kingdom. From there, he got to UK, and the rest is history.
Jide, let me quickly take this breather. When we come back, we'll discuss more. We're still on the case of James Onanefe Ibori. Stay with us. All right, Jide, before we went on that break, we were talking about James Ibori.
Yes. I think it's wrong to say that every Deltan is excited about his return home. The fact is, there are some people who never really agreed with him throughout his time here, and I've mentioned E.K. Clark and other people, and they are still prominent people in that state. Some of them must have watched in horror what played out that day. You can imagine someone,
as individual,
someone at the risk of blasphemy, even comparing Ibori to Jesus Christ.
He said he went to God's college.
And yes, he
went for training.
He calls prison a school. Well, it's a school in a way because he's supposed to learn
to reform,
never to steal people's money again.
Yeah.
You know, that is the lesson that he was taught in that school.
Or during that trial.
In inverted commas. You know, it's not to learn mathematics and history and all that, but he gets taught that they need not to steal money again. So it is my wish that in that school, yes, he
for training.
He calls prison a school. Well, it's a school in a way because he's supposed to learn
to reform,
never to steal people's money again.
Yeah.
That is the lesson that he was taught in that school.
During that trial.
In inverted commas. It's not to learn mathematics and history and all that, but he gets taught that they need not to steal money again. So it is my wish that in that school, he passed with flying colors. Because if he passed with flying colors in that school, that prison, then we can be sure that whatever is entrusted in his hands, from now on, he will not attempt to steal.
But looking at the status of James Ibori in Delta State, is like it's a godfather. Politically, he produced Emmanuel Dwanha,
the last two governors,
Patrick Okowa, and we were told that the governor has been there yesterday with all the officials and everything. They've been to Ogara yesterday, and when you look at that, it's still a big factor in Delta State.
Well, I think one fact we have to know is that in Nigerian politics, the more you have the capacity to spread your loot, the more popular you become among the immediate beneficiaries of that particular loot. Like he said, not all debtors will be happy about the kind of welcome he received. But for as many people as he has made through that system, through that way, for such people who always want him to become relevant.
Let me quickly take this call. Yemi is calling us from Lagos. Thank you, Yemi.
Hello.
Hello, Yemi.
Good evening.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, I want to contribute to the journalist hangout.
All right, do so quickly.
Hello, good evening, sir.
Yes, Yemi, you are on. You are live.
All right, sorry, I've been calling for quite a while. I wanted to comment on the issue of Buhari sickness. Yeah, I commend Mr. Soluju for his wise talking. Yes. What I want all Nigerians to do is to pray for Buhari, because the whole of this country now are pounding yam for him, attacking him spiritually. So, and when the whole country is attacking him spiritually as a result of fighting corruption, you know what it means. So, his being sick, to me, is not ordinary. So, we all need to pray for him to survive from these corrupt people that are fighting back.
All right, thank you, Yemi.
Our problem in this country is our spirituality.
All right, thank you, Yemi.
Yeah, like I was saying, the kind of reception is also an indication that the deep diversity in the culture of Nigeria. Because to some other people, you will weep for that kind of thing. To some other nationalities, such a reception will not even take place in the first instance. But now that it has taken place, it also means that we have a serious problem confronting the monster of corruption in Nigeria. Because I am sure that 80% of those people who were present there on that day, most of them have not eaten on that particular morning. But because we have turned corruption in such a way that we have ethnicized corruption in Nigeria, it's our son. It's a way of life. It's our son now.
Let's admit it. It's our money.
They've been saying that it's our money that is stolen, not your own.
He has money that is stolen. It's unfortunate that people can say that. But what I want people to also know is that if you are a commissioner for education or you are a governor of a state and you are supposed to construct a road that leads to a particular place, for as many people that has accident on that particular road because of your ineptitude, you are supposed to pay for that particular thing. But the reverse is becoming the case in Nigeria. For as much as you can spread your loot, you will still get a band of irresponsible people who will clap for you.
MJ, ethics, value. I fear when that picture came out, that video, I looked at it and they will still tell you that he has people that appreciate him and adore him. But is this who we are?
It's unfortunate that it's not only in Delta. It happened in the Southwest where one of the key leaders in the PDP was jailed, although now pardoned. Yes. He came back and there was a thanksgiving for him for coming back from wherever, from prison.
No, he wasn't pardoned. Body judge wasn't pardoned.
He wasn't pardoned.
He wasn't pardoned. The
he was given amnesty.
No. The Supreme Court
actually served the term.
He served the term.
He served the term in error.
When he came, not in error.
The Supreme Court invalidated.
Yes. He went to jail in error.
Yes,
so it's not known to Nigerian laws now as a
ex-convict.
But then, while he was serving that in error, when he came back, I mean,
before the Supreme Court.
Before the Supreme Court intervention.
Yes, it was some months after that.
Yes.
Supreme Court
now,
validated.
I was going. That happened in the Southwest, where we are perceived to be educated and highly cultured, and where when people steal, it's like
distance yourself.
That is it. You are bad. But also we have examples in the South. Apart from Onanefe Ibori now, Alamesia, later Alamesia.
They got the same treatment.
They got the same treatment. And
even in the Southeast,
in the Southeast,
one guy that was executed
in Malaysia. Despite the fact
they celebrated him in death,
as if they were even burying the corpse. They're not, unknown to Nigerians, the corpse. They can't even release the corpse to you. When you are convicted,
it was
for
given
murder,
a symbolic burial.
The guy was given a burial. No, there was nothing there.
It was given a symbolic
not that they got back his body.
I had a judge who told me that nowhere in the world will any government release the corpse of a criminal to you that has been convicted. Condemned, any condemned criminal. So the body becomes the property of the state. So but then we are on James Ibori. It shows that now, when you steal very well, and you go to wherever, maybe jail or detention, and you come back. If you can spread the goodies, you come back a hero. Like look at that old man telling us that the man went to school.
I don't know how that one will face his children.
Honestly,
God's college.
That he went to God's college. He has now been given freedom. We have workers at daily independent newspapers that have been owed 17, 18 months salary.
I was owed 16 months salary up to now.
But that was not his fault now. It was not in
That's the management.
He was not in time. He was in prison. They were expecting to pay from prison.
Now that he's back, maybe you help us send a message to him that
it's not his fault. People will say it's because you are owed salary that you are descending on him.
If he could elect Okowa from prison, then it should be
able to pay the salary of those people.
But he didn't finance the election.
Okay, let me pick Yakin. Yakin is calling us from Bauchi State. Thank you, Yakin.
Hello, good evening, how are you?
Good evening, Yakin.
Hello, good evening.
All right, go ahead with your contribution.
Good evening, Mr. Babajide.
Good evening, I salute.
Today rain is going to follow because this is the first time people are picking my call. I've been calling for several times. You are not.
The
rain will fall in Lagos.
Sorry, it's even good for the rain to fall.
And I want to thank you for the good job that you are doing.
Thank you. We appreciate you too.
I want to contribute about this Ibori issue.
Go ahead, though. Your time is counting.
Because I saw his people. They are happy. They are happy welcoming him back. And it seems that they don't even know what they are doing. Somebody that stole your money and he came back, you people are welcoming him. I was just looking at it like they didn't even know what they are doing. They didn't know what they are doing. They're supposed to stone him when he came back, but they are welcoming him back to the state. They didn't even know what they are doing.
All right, thank you, Yakin. Thank you, Yakin, for your contribution. Jude, I want us to talk about his politics, is political influence. And you know that for us to, if we are even saying, okay, he has stolen this, that he was convicted, but this man has one thing going for him. He is actually a good politician. Yes. If for you to be out of circulation and you still determine what happened in that state you've left, nobody can become anything sensitive in Delta State without the input of James Ibori.
No doubt about it. He installed his cousin as governor.
Emmanuel Udoha?
Yes, he installed Okowa as governor. In fact, many people never believed. He did two seemingly impossible things. His cousin came from the minority tribe, the Shekiris. There are just, I think, 3 local governments in that state. He managed to make him governor. Then Delta North, he got someone to come from Delta North, also from minority, and that person became governor. Only an Ibori can do that in present-day Delta politics, because you have to be very, very strong.
Yes.
To go and bring someone from the minority and get that person
yes,
to
because
win.
Ibori was always winning Central, he was
Yes.
always winning the Asabas and everything, and you think he will win the election,
So
but when they just bring...
he has already cemented his place in the policies of not just Nigeria, not just Delta, but Nigeria,
Yes.
as one of the really strong godfathers, political godfathers. Bukola Saraki's dad, Oloye, did that when he made Adamu Ata from the minority Ebira governor in 1979.
Olushola Saraki.
Olushola Saraki. He made, Adamu Ata was in Ghana, he brought him to Nigeria and made him governor in 1979 from the minority tribe in old Kwara State. He's only powerful. Yes, it's only powerful politicians who can do that. Get his own people to say, look, we leave these people, let them do, because the Urhobos are in the majority. And then, of course, the Urhobos always get the Sokos to vote along their line. So he's a powerful politician in that state. Yes, he emerged on the scene in 1999. But between then and now, he used his position as governor to build enduring political structures for himself. And today, yes, enduring structures that survived even his time in detention. You know, so he can summon people at the snap of his fingers, do this for me, and it gets done. Whether in the riverine areas where the militants host way, or anywhere, he is able to summon people, get them to do his bidding politically, and that's what we are seeing clearly now. You can't even get into the Senate unless you get the support.
When we come back, we'll finalize on James Ibori before we move on. All right, Tunde Abaton, your take on this, James Ibori?
Well, I think another thing that we just have to know is that this reception is sending a real signal to youths, especially from that particular area. If we all agree that the diversity of culture may not go beyond the Delta, but I doubt it. But it's also sending a message that if you are so smart enough from that particular area and you can do the same thing this man that was being received do, you can also get away because their leader have said that he has gone to school. So you also commit the same offense because there is nothing that will make a young man to desist from doing this kind of thing when you give this kind of reception. And it's also a wrong message to use all over Nigeria about the fight against corruption. I think it is unfortunate that we are going through this thing.
Moji, what will happen to the Niger Delta struggle? And we know his influence in that region.
I see the militancy or the activities of the militants being curtailed because Ibori, beyond being strong politically, I mean, he is in control of the happenings in that area. And I see a situation where we'll see little or no pipeline vandalism going forward. And that might be kudos to the federal government. Who, I mean, Ibori can't just come back to Nigeria without, I mean,
some guarantees.
Without some guarantees, all those interrogations by the SSS are just routine, and the young man. I mean, yeah, the young man is in his house now.
It's not so young.
This is not so young. I think it's Delta is a member of Delta State House of Assembly right now. Jide, so moving forward now, do we expect that Ibori proceed to the Senate?
I don't know what his plan is.
Because
I don't know.
I don't know
whether he will end up in jail again. I don't know whether they will leave him alone. Someone told me, although I have not cross-checked, that Justice Awokulehin's judgment was appealed. So, and if that judgment was appealed, and they continue the case, you can be sure that Ibori will return to school, but this time in Nigeria.
It's difficult to return to school in Nigeria since 1999. How many of them have returned to school?
They have no money to study.
Moving on now, last Saturday, a town called Sasawa in Yobe State was invaded and occupied by suspected Boko Haram terrorists and was occupied after a fierce firefight with the Nigerian army. Does it mean Boko Haram is still able to engage the army with and overrun towns in Nigeria? Jide? Because the tone of this thing fierce battling with who?
They've been battling our soldiers. I think the point that they wanted to make was to show the military that they've not been defeated. And I think that except the Nigerian who wants to deceive himself, I think the signs are clear that this is not a group that has been defeated. And even some of the foreign defense analysts who have good information about what goes on in Nigeria and in Africa have been saying that, look, if you say this group has been defeated, then you are deceiving yourself. The mistake we make is capturing, equating the capture of territory from Boko Haram as defeat of the group. We forget that they can always switch tactics and go to conventional guerrilla warfare. Boko Haram, the Boko Haram of today, they are not interested in capturing territories anymore. If they capture a territory, as they did yesterday, when they, what they are only after is to loot food items in that community, loot fuel, because they are already they are struggling. They are unable to feed a lot of their men and even some of the captives in their hands. When they look at what they did about 7 days ago, the Maiduguri-Dambuwa highway, it's about 90-kilometer highway. The military opened the highway, but it is usually under heavy security that they lead traders to go and buy stuff in either Maiduguri or even Dambuwa and the towns around. With military
escorts?
Yes, heavy escort with machine guns mounted on vehicles. But Boko Haram ambushed the convoy and killed 24 people.
I think they wanted food.
It's the food. They now led, including soldiers. And when they now, after the ambush, they led the vehicles loaded with food, they led those vehicles away to their own hideouts. Nobody knows where they ended up. The fact is, I've said it before.
Just food supply.
It's the food supply that they targeted. So they've taken 9 trucks loaded with food.
Hungry.
Loaded with food. No, it's not just about being hungry, but their capacity to wreak this kind of damage. It says something. To take on the army consistent, since in the whole of January, they were consistently attacking our troops. This Yobe state that we are talking about, for a long time, they were not going to Yobe.
Honestly.
Now they're going to Yobe. They went to Buniyadi.
And I think Adamawa too, they started...
Yes, that's in Madagali area. So the truth is, they must survive. You've chased them out of Sambisa. But as Obi Ezekwesili said, it is Nigerian soldiers do not control the whole of Sambisa. No army can control the whole of Sambisa because of the size. How many troops are you going to put there? So there are still some of them probably hiding on the fringes of Sambisa. Sambisa is not the only forest in that area. They came out of a forest called Korowaso also. That forest is linked to Sambisa. They came out of it to kill people who are going to buy foodstuff and all that. So the threat of Boko Haram remains. We must tell ourselves the truth. The threat remains. And we need strong intelligence gathering, and put soldiers in critical areas. That is the only way that we can defeat these people. Since we really want to defeat, that's the only way we can defeat them. For now, their threat has not diminished. Even what they were not doing before, they are beginning to do it now. Because they were not attacking highways for a long time. So it's really it's a pathetic situation that we find ourselves.
Today, when you look at the situation now, you want to... it's always said that anytime we have this kind of warfare, it takes time before you can actually defeat them. Even the Western world, they are still trying hard to defeat the Al-Qaedas of this world and everything. But what can the government do to make sure that they reduce their influence?
I think so far, like he has said, we have to acknowledge one thing, that yes, it has become a borderless war. And if it has become a borderless war, tactics have to change on behalf of the Nigerian military, because they are no more concentrated at a particular place, which means they have dispersed. And when they have dispersed, anywhere there are any member of the Boko Haram is posing a serious danger to the essence of living in that particular area, which means the Nigerian military They should make less of noise and depend more on intelligence in all the border areas that surrounds the northeastern part of Nigeria, because they are now more potent to strike. They are no more interested in taking territories, but they are more interested in making their presence felt in anywhere they are. And how do they do that? By striking at villages and by causing as much mayhem as possible, so that government can know that they are still a force to be reckoned with. And probably government will be forced once again to negotiate with them.
We are still negotiating with them.
Mojid, what should we do about this, making sure that our soldiers get enough
intelligence,
arms and this thing from the people that matters? Because apparently the United States, they're not cooperating with us when it comes to giving us enough arms and equipment. They used to talk about those helicopters that we need to really combat these people effectively.
Yeah, because the U.S. government is not sure whether if they give us those arms, they sell those arms to us, that it won't get to wrong hands like it happened in the past. Now, apart from that, they have given us useful intelligence reports in the past, which we failed to take advantage of, or even the information they pass across to our troops ended up being used by Boko Haram to attack our troops. So it's like there's a leakage in information flow. And I think as long as the Nigerian army continues to bask in the euphoria that the battle has been won, Boko Haram must strike to show that, come, we are still here. So I don't think the army should tell us the battle has been won. Rather,
we have to wrap up.
Can say we have decimated Boko Haram.
All right. I want to thank you, Mojid Jamiu. I want to thank you, Tunde Abaton and Babajide Otitoju, for being my guests on the show today. And that's it on Journalist Hangout. Join us tomorrow for more episodes of the program. My name is Ayodele Ozubaku. See you tomorrow.